Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the second act of our fan fiction game, a play-by-post role-playing experience that we do for the community on our Discord channel, which is open for everyone to join. If you would like to join in, head on over to discord.gg/Henley. Check out the fan fiction sub category that we have in the texty chat, where you can make a character, join in on the game, and have a bit of fun. The system that we're using is Genesys, and if you don't know what that is, but you do know what Star Wars Age of the Empire is, it's a genericized version of that system. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump straight in and, well, I guess do Act 2. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to continue our story with, I guess, Henry and Greg for the time being. Henry and Greg with a whimpering peanut into the ranger station for the national park that they were camping in. As the door opens, a ranger looks up from his workstation, smiles from ear to ear, and says, "Gentlemen, I assume you're here because of the gates of hell opening." The ranger jokingly points out the window to the maelstrom. "Bingo!" claps Greg. "I can see where our tax dollars are going. So what's the word then? Is this something we should be worried about?" "Honestly, fellas, the only people who have been talking on the radios are the other ranger towers. And it's been dangerously quiet." There's a little bit of a pregnant pause in the room before the radio squawks up and says, "Radio station Frankie, come in." The ranger in the office, the ranger in the wheel office, the ranger wheels his office chair over to the radio and picks up the receiver. "Go ahead, Actual, you have Frankie."
"Frankie, we've had reports of a small service craft being caught in the storm that has approached the county. They're reporting engine failure and wounded on board. Something about being struck by lightning repeatedly. The pilot is making an emergency landing in your quadrant. Can you hoof it over there and over to the site and see what you can see? Over."
The ranger looks to Henry and Greg with a look of concern. "Roger that, Actual. I have a couple of civvies with me. Is there a place folk are meeting about the maelstrom I can send them over to?" "Over." There's a moment of static on the line before a response comes back.
"They're saying the mayor of Wendigo is calling a town meeting, though it's far from mandatory. Either way, you get to that crash site and do what you can, Frankie. Over and out."
He places the handset back on the hook and turns to the two men. "Well, there you have it. After I deal with this downed aircraft, I'm going to go around and rouse all the other campers and get them moving to Wendigo. You guys are free to do what you want, but if I'm being honest with you, that storm is nothing I've ever seen before. Heading to town to shoulder might be prudent." Henry and Greg nod to each other before they start the descent down from the tower. Alright, so, the clear skies over Rockwell County have started to darken. Your fate seems to belong to the forces of the storm. How do you proceed? The time frame that everyone had for their character actions this time was 2 hours, and they had a total of 3 dice that they could use. So, the people that have responded, we're going to go ahead and roll initiative. So, before we get started, actually, I need to go ahead and add experience points for everyone. Actually, we should do that in a GM note. That way, it's easier to keep track of. Oh, and yeah, forgot to turn the music on. So let's do that. Because we got some nice background music this time around. Keep everything from sounding way too boring. So I was like looking for background music. I was like, okay, what's the most chillest background music I could possibly have? And this is the stuff I came up with. So Alright, so I think what we're going to go with is... we'll go with 2 experience points per act. That should give people enough time to... you know, get some stuff going for their character and that sort of stuff. So, and we're also going to do expenditures. We're at maybe Saturday or Friday afternoon or something like that. So over the weekend, everyone will have the ability to do that, and then come Monday, I'll update the character sheets. Blah blah blah. You get the idea. Alright, so let's roll some dice. Alright, so this time around we have Tyler Blackmore, Rigger, aka Ronald Cullen, aka Victor von Various. Who's next? John Stone, aka Pop Squat. We also have Olga Yaspolva and Zachary Blackhall, as well as Paul Abernathy and Samuel Davis. Alright. Great. That's all we have. So let's roll some initiative now. If you don't remember, initiative works on the same system we have here, except for the fact that we are going to be keeping track of them individually, and rolling high means you get to go first. You get to also use the boost dice available to you. So let's take a look. Alright, so Samuel Davis, you're up first. You go 1 and 2. Not bad, not bad. 1 and 2. Paul Abernathy. Let's just actually clear all these. That way we can keep track of who's done what. Alright, Paul Abernathy. Oh, crit. So 2, 1, and a crit. Okay, that's really good. Zachary Blackhall, let's roll yours now. 3. Okay, well you are the token leader thus far, Mr. Blackhall. Olga. I take it back, we have a new leader. 4 and a crit. That is a pretty good one. Not that crits mean anything, they just sort of break ties, but... Alright, John Stone, aka Papa Squat. Why don't you Papa Squat over here? 2 successes. Oh, not bad. It looks like the first place person, Samuel Davis, is in last place right now. Ronald Cullen, aka Victor von Varus. Let's roll yours. 1 and 2. If it had to break between Samuel Davis and him, which it looks like it's going to, Samuel Davis has more dice, so it would have to go to Samuel. Okay, and Tyler Blackmore is our last one. You always came on? Dude, Heavy, you were first yesterday. You were literally 4 and 0 yesterday, so don't worry about it too much. Tyler Blackmore, 2 and 2. Alright, that's not bad. Alright, so here is the final breakdown. Zareth didn't write, so he doesn't get to go. Alright, it goes Olga. Followed by Tyler. Followed by John Stern. No, followed by Paul Abernathy. Followed by John Stern. Followed by... Oh no, Zachary Blackwell's in there. Sorry, he got a 3-0. So it goes Olga... It goes Victor, Olga, Zachary. Tyler, Paul. Samuel... Tyler, Paul, John, Samuel, and then Ronald. Alright. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Alright, so for the first 3 people, so Olga, Zachary, and Tyler also get a boost dice because of the global boost dice that were rolled in the last game. Easy? Great. Good memories, people. So let's find Olga. Alright. Godfather's home should be near. Olga looks at the sky once more. Why is it so fast, and why am I running out of time? She finds the required house. It was an ordinary, unremarkable house. In the front, there is a young apple tree. Yaspolva approaches it, knocks at the door. Moments passes. Another one. Young woman knocks again. Anxiety rises. Why he not boo, I guess. She jumps looking behind her. A ruddy oldster laughs. Wiping away his tears, Olga frowns. However, she immediately smiles, still laughing. Franz opens the front door with a gesture, and for Olga to enter. Went out to buy desserts for our tea party, Olga asks, noticing the wine bottle in the Godfather's hand. None, 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 none. This is my remedy. Good for the old broken heart, he smirks. Smile fades away, and Franz starts to look so old and powerless. Franz starts to look so old and powerless. He stops in the middle of the room, staring at Yaspolva. Olga does not want to interrupt his thoughts. Wait here, says Franz, leaving the room, returning with the package. Open, commands Franz. It looks like the others, which she delivers so often. She never opens them, even due to her curious nature. Now this ties back to her secret, by the way. They are always scaring her. So if you don't understand, that's perfectly fine. I understand. Olga looks at her godfather, seeking a glimpse of support in his eyes, but his green eyes express nothing. The young woman nervously sighs and opens the package. Inside is a beautiful box with a masterful depiction of a red phoenix with starry eyes. In its beak, this creature has a vase filled with water, and its claws carries a murky rock. On the box, there is a lock. There is no lock or visible sights of it. Open the lock, repeated the grandfather. If you do, I'll explain something about us. Well, no, if not, well, there's no turning back now, he murmurs, looking out the window. So, Olga would like to use knowledge to solve the puzzle to unlock this box. I would like to use a boost die, which you will get because you are first. It will probably be very hard because it's the final exam of her trainings. The contents of the box is up to the GM. It'll be connected to my secret. Alright, so let's just, for my sake of brevity, I'm going to... I want to... Hang on 1 second. I'm going to, real quickly, just look over the secrets. One sec. Okay. Alright. Well, that's a little disconcerting. I'm not entirely sure what I'll put in the box just yet, but I know how it should tie into the story as a whole, but we'll see how we go. Alright. Alright, so, the first boost dice has been used. Now, this, since she wants to use knowledge, because that's not necessarily the skill that you would use to open a lock, but as previously mentioned, this seems more like a, like one of those old, style, like, ancient Orient locks where like it's like a trial of dexterity more than a trial of like, well, I guess dexterity because that's still unlocking a thing. But yeah, we can, I guess knowledge would work, but knowledge is generally like, it's not necessarily a skill specifically for that, and if she wants to like use her knowledge of like locks to do that, I mean, it still doesn't give her the manual dexterity in order to do it. So I'm gonna make this 3 purple and 1 red in order to attempt this. I'm also going to say, because she is using the wrong skill for this, I'm going to add a black die to it as well. So it's definitely not something like in the future, if you want to unlock a box or something, even if it's like a skill lock or something like that, technically speaking, you need to use skullduggery. I'll also accept like mechanics is also a prudent one there as well. But yeah, no, knowledge is not really the skill I would use for that. Knowledge is more like, if someone asks you a question about the makeup of what goes in this chemical compound, that's what knowledge is. Knowledge isn't necessarily opening a lock. Okay, so let's roll it up, see what you get. Okay, you succeeded. However, got a bunch of threats. Alright. Oh wait, no, that's not your... Sorry, I opened the wrong fucking one here. Jesus. Sorry, that was the wrong sheet. I had the wrong sheet fucking open. Dumbass. Okay, it's the same result, even though you rolled technically another dice. So, there you go. Okay. So... Let's see here. Strain. I'm gonna give you 2 strain for that. That's a lot of threats to get. But you do succeed in opening the box. What contains within is I'm a little unclear as to what you want me to point in the direction of. Alright, inside is a very old photograph, I guess. And it does appear to be your father in his younger years. And he's here with a man who's dressed in a slouch hat and well, I guess like they're both standing on a pier, and behind him is a sort of like a steamboat, I guess, with an American flag billowing in the background. And the inside of the actual on the back of the note, on the back of the photograph, it has find us, daughter, or find him, daughter. He has the next phase, I guess. The man itself he's wearing like a slouch hat, so his face is kind of covered for the most part. You look to your godfather, and he just shrugs his shoulders. It's like, I've never seen the man before in my life. What else is in the box? You search around inside the box. There's not really much in there, aside from the note itself, as well as well, I guess a locket. And it kind of looks like a what are those bugs called that light up? I forget what they're called now. Yeah, like a lamprey, I guess. Yeah, it's a lamprey. And it just kind of has like its wings open, and it's got like this amber jewel like on its lower abdomen, basically, and it's it's like a gold amulet, and it's got a circle around it of like just gold, what it's sitting on, like a lightning bug. Yeah, exactly. And that's what you find inside of the actual the box itself. Outside on the street, though, you do hear the sounds of multiple families like packing up and packing all their belongings inside of their cars, I guess, and they're making a move to leave, saying things along the lines of, well, now's our only opportunity to go, honey. You're gonna have to leave something behind. She's like, no, what about all my shoes? And all that shit. Like, we can come back for the fucking shoes, you know? Alright. Good job, Olga. I will mark you down for another Sex P. That puts you at 4. Alright. Next, we have who? Zachary Blackhall. So yeah, you took 2 strain from your failure there, or your results. So Zachary Blackhall. All right. So Zachary Blackhall, which is Dr. Cirrus. Christ, this night already went to shit. It was all hands on deck in town. Fire, police, EMS were out in full force. Zach hitched a ride on the back of a fire truck. Something that they frowned upon, but not with a first responder bag slung over his shoulder. He was a brother in arms tonight. Well, he stole the bag from a reflective vest that was part of an old police disguise, but it bought him a trip to the Chuck's block. It was close enough. He hopped off the truck and waved farewell to his escort. He dipped into an alley before opening his med bag. Black gloves, helmet, balaclava, and black clothes rested on top of his only pistol and butterfly knife over the med supplies. He was a charmer, not a fighter, but this was an emergency. The gun went into his waistband, the knife into his sock. The heavy black flashlight / bludgeon hung in his hand. Fog hung in the air, and power outages were becoming more and more common. Now, just so everyone is aware, the fog hasn't like rolled over the town yet, so you're still outside of the fog, but that's okay. Let's just say that the fog is getting reasonably close to where I guess Zachary is. Chaos suited him well tonight, and he was hidden and quiet as a mouse, covered and armed and ready as he'll ever be. And it's also not night, but serves the same purpose of you being covered. No one can really see what you are. He was a curious man. He learned to study history and science. The shroud reminded him of the Faith Feaster, a mist of that hid druids, deities, and other dark things. Under ordinary circumstances, this event would catch his interest. Soon, there was more pressing concern. Chuck could be bleeding out. Zach was owed a job, and there are a few things more motivating than a second lease on life. He double-checked his clothing to make sure there was nothing to ID him at a glance and loaded a round into his gun. 1 in the chamber, 11 in the clip. He entered. Charles better thank him for this. He wasn't perforated with bullets. Okay, I had to read that for a second. Or crawling on the ceiling or some shit. Fucker better not be dead. If he was, the coroner was going to find the place considerably less wealthy as a punishment. Zach will use perception to search Chuck's last known location for any physical or worry, and for him and any physical, potential physical or wary of the fog paranormal threats. So basically, he's the fog hasn't rolled over his town. What's happening is he's like on the he's on like outskirts of the town, and the vehicle that he was driving with this mark, the fog, he drove through it, and the fog sort of like encapsulated it for a split moment of time. So we'll use perception here. So basically, let's rewrite your little scenario a little bit there. You caught the truck, the fire truck, out to one of the locations, because this isn't the only car that has been sort of hit by this fog, right? So imagine you're on sort of like the main road / highway, which is about 6 cars long. And there's a bunch of cars that have all been stopped and sort of smashed up near the side of the road here. And all of them have stopped moving. The drivers are slumped over in the car. You can hear like the sound of like horns being leaned on, that sort of stuff. But you know, and the fog wall is probably about 100 meters away from you. Now, the thing that's worth pointing out here, and it's pretty obvious, you don't need a perception check for this. The fog wall was quick at a certain point, but now it's sort of stationary and it's not really moving per se, which gives you the opportunity and, you know, a little pause for concern as to, you know, maybe it might start moving again. You're not a meteorologist, you're not entirely sure of these sorts of things, but it gives you an opportunity to search for your friend Chuck and for the actual mark that he had with you. So let's go ahead and roll that. Clear the dice. Second blue dice goes to Mr. Zachariah. Black hole. We're going to make this a... due to the confusion, actually we'll make it 2 purple and we'll give you a black dice because the amount of confusion that's happening now. There are a bunch of people walking around screaming, horns are bleeding. You know, there's fire emergency personnel out here as well trying to like remove people from cars that are locked and that sort of stuff who are unconscious on the inside. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, specifically. So let's go ahead and roll your perception then. Hey, look at that. Yep, you got a triumph. So, you know, cause for concern. You're worried about maybe the fog wall moving again. But that isn't so much of an issue for you because you scan the horizon and you literally find the telltale sign of the truck that is carrying the works that you had. So you make your way over to that. You pull your little balaclava up over your head. A lot of people give you a look like really looters at this point, but they leave you alone once they see that you've got a pistol in your waistband. They go about their way. They're more interested in their family than what you've got going on. So you make your way over to the truck. It's a standard like white moving van truck. The reason that gave it away is because there is a flag that always gets run on this truck per se, and I'll let you decide what that flag is. You can tell me what it is, but it's like basically hanging off the antenna, so it was fairly easy for you to spot given the circumstances. With that in mind, you make your way over to the truck, and you see Chuck. Basically, this is one of the he's sitting in the back in the passenger seat, head lolling up, looking at the ceiling. There's also a man next to him, probably a hired goon from some sort of protection or something like that, leaning on the horn of the car. I assume you go over to the man and you push him off the horn because, you know, it's annoying to listen to that. The fog wall at this point, from where you are, is probably a good 20 meters from you. And the moment you release the man off the horn is the moment you actually hear the fog wall for the first time. It literally sounds like a roaring thunderstorm inside of it. Like, it's like, you know how you can count out the distance between thunder strikes in real life to work out how far away a thunderstorm is? Well, this is like it's constant cackling of energy. And you can actually see the lightning like cascading along the outside of the fog wall, and it's sort of like breathing. Like it's kind of like the fog is going in and out and sort of breathing against the wall that it's on. There's a car like vivisected by this wall, I guess I want to say. It's literally charcoal. And the van that you're in right now, sorry, the truck that you're looking in, the moving truck, it's also the arse end of it is like covered in like burn marks. And it's sort of like there's a couple of like streaking lightning bolts, like singes up the front of the truck. The back tires are all burst, and the actual muffler and some of the rims have melted as well as the handle on the back door of the actual van itself has been melted together. So there's no way that you can open that door. You're going to have to go in through the in between the two seats in the cab if you want to get into the back. Inspecting Chuck, at first glance, you can't tell if he's dead or not, but the one thing that's clear on both of these men is that their skin is basically like, it's almost like you can see all of their veins underneath their skin, and it basically looks like the actual the veins inside of them have hardened, and you can see, like, you know how when you tense up your arm and you can see veins and stuff like that, kind of like when you're taking blood. Imagine that all over your body. Like, literally, it looks like something out of like a horror flick or something like that, with all the veins sort of forking out in different directions, and they're all blue, like with basically oxygen-filled blood that's sort of frozen in place, I guess. It's particularly bad on the driver, mostly because he was holding onto a lot of metal instruments at the time of being struck. Chuck, on the other hand, will need another looking into. So, good job on that. You take a strain for having your turn right now. And that's where we will leave you. I will give you some more XP real quickly. And that puts you up to 4 XP. Good job. Alright, next on the list we have Tyler Blackmar. That is the Blind Watchman. Alright. The scene starts, odds are, by Bare Naked Ladies. It starts playing. Okay, so that's the song, right? We see Tyler and his squad car heading towards the location of his case, which was a series of muggings, if I remember correctly. Tyler went home to grab his dog because, as the day went on, his feeling got worse and worse before he left worse and worse. Before he left the station, I guess, he made a call to Paul Abernathy. Paul, something bad is going down. I want to meet up. Can you come to my house around 9? Having left that message, he gets in contact with those connected to his secret and tells them to watch the storm report and report anything they find out to him when he decides to get his case done ASAP. As he's driving, okay, let's take a look at his secret again. Okay. All right. So I want to say, Blind, that you attempt, I guess, Tyler attempts to get in contact with his, contacts at your secret base location thing. However, all you met with is, your call cannot be connected. Please check the number and try again. Like, basically over and over again. As they are outside of the county that you're currently in. And it seems like the storm is making it hard to connect any sort of phones or anything like that. However, your call to Paul Abernathy connects without a problem. So maybe it's something to do with the fact that there's a giant electrical storm between you and the place you're trying to make the call to. So where would you leave off? He decides to get this case done ASAP. As he's driving, he takes a sip of his flask, which is a giant cocktail of alcohol, having never washed it out. This shit's getting worse. He reaches over and pets the shaking Jack. Hey, bud, don't worry. Ain't nothing gonna happen to you as well. To happen to you as while I still breathe. The scene ends on the song saying, odds are we're gonna be alright, odds are we're gonna be alright for another night. I want to use perception to work on the case. If he can use his dog to catch a scent, Akita dog is bred for hunting. Stop at the site, but stop at 8 and head home and meet with Paul. Okay. Interesting. Well, yeah, okay. So you arrive to the scene where this the series of thefts are happening. However, all you're greeted with is an empty crime scene, I guess. The last report of this happening was at some house, some family home, inside suburbia somewhere. However, you're met with no police officers guarding the scene. You're also met with an empty home and an empty street. Not a lot of people here have made any sort of effort to stay behind. If you make your way inside, you find that the house has been ramshackled, and it looks like the signs of a B&E gone wrong, essentially. And what led you to be on this case specifically is that there was a assault here, basically. You can see signs of blood splatter, little bits of it on the walls and stuff like that. But let's get a perception check out of you to see what else you can see. So this will be, so this is the third person. So the final boost dice will go to you, Mr. Tyler. I'm gonna add a black die because there's no one here helping you with this. So you're basically going off cold turkey. Only using your own perception here to make an elaboration, and we're going to put 2 purple into this, so reasonably easy for you to do. So perception. Let's take a look. Okay, 2 successes. All right. So with 2 successes, you know, you find you sort of do that thing that like all the TV shows detectives kind of do, where they're like visualize the crime in process, right? So we get a man who like knocks on the door, and then as it goes to answer, like we get the scene of the lady in a bathrobe looking through a peephole, basically, and he on the other side she sees a masked man. He kicks the door in as we see you examining the door frame where it was busted in, and the woman falls back onto the table. She grabs like a little lamp to protect herself, and the man walks forward confidently, wrestles the lamp out of her hands, and hits her over the head with it. Donk. A little bit of blood splatter hits the wall. We see as you're like sort of on your knees, like examining the blood splatter with your thumb, as well as the scuff marks on the floor. The man then proceeds to walk around the house with the woman injured in the hallway. Clearly he's looking for something, but you know, things like jewelry, television, that sort of stuff, that's all here. So it's the signs of break and enter with the pretension, with the idea that he's looking particularly for something, but you're not entirely sure what that is. But with that all done, you know, you step outside the house and look over to the horizon. As far as you can see, this fog wall has taken up basically all of the horizon that you can see. How does that make you feel? What do you do with that? So with that information, you take another strain, putting you at 3 out of 10. And let's add another XP for your character there. Who was supposed to be Zachariah? Okay, cool, great, easy. All right, next we have Paul Abernathy. So let's close down that sheet. Fighter pants. All right. Okay, he says that this is going to be comparatively short. Fade to black into hearing ticking. Show clock that pans out to Paul's office with many pictures strung together with a red ribbon. Monologue starts with, "Of all the days for her to leave, why did it have to be today? Now if I can only find some kind of connection, maybe Tyler will be able to help me." Paul will use his perception to find clues within his secretary's apartment to find out where she went, and if this doesn't count as an additional option, go to Tyler's place at 9. Okay, so yeah, we can come in next in Act 3 of you two meeting up, right? At 9 at Tyler's place. Other than that, we will get a perception here. So no more blue dice. I will make this 3 purple here. Mr. Paul Abernathy. Just see how you do. And we'll use perception, right? Yes, perception to roll for you. So let's take a look here. Where is that? There it is. Boom. Yeah, so her house, once the landlord leaves you to your own devices. So this is, we get a little flashback of you like going over the case files in your little office here. You know, you're looking over some Polaroids that you took that is connected to some other things, like a picture of her or something like that. We get you going through her apartment, looking at all the belongings that were taken. So clearly, it looks like someone packed a bag in a hurry and took the bare essentials. We're talking like a couple days worth of clothing and underwear. some extra cash or jewelry is missing. Things that are worth value that is small, they're all taken. The toiletries are taken as well. However, having said that, nothing like her passport is here, but nothing else seems to be missing. So you check her answering machine. There's no clear indication of where she's going. She didn't change her message tone to indicate that she was leaving or anything like that. You check all the notes on the fridges. There's nothing really that leads you believing anything untoward happened until you find some shredded documents in the paper shredder. And this is like recent too. So like basically the way you know this is because like there was old paper underneath and the stuff on top is reasonably new. So using your intuition, you take that stuff with you. However, it's going to take a lot of work to piece the this back together. You know, it's up to you whether you want to believe that this is a viable lead or not. With a failure like that, unfortunately, you can't really discern whether or not this will be useful or whether it would be a complete waste of time to even follow it. So you're going to take an additional strain here due to you being failing the test here with a threat on board. So you're at 3 of 12. But we will go ahead and mark you some experience points. Okay. Next is John Stone, aka Mac Popper Squat, aka Big Food. So this is the one on the plane, if I remember correctly. For the past 2 hours, ever since John had entered the borders of the shell wall lightning, I don't know what that is, has been non-stop striking the hull of the plane. It's been getting faster and faster. But it did start, but at the start it was pretty scary, and the people talking about this being their last... What? But at the start it was pretty scary, and the people all talking about this being their last day, and the stewardess trying to calm the situation. But now John is getting pissed that he has to deal with this, plus with the maelstrom. John has realized by now this isn't any tornado or whatever they call it when the woman next to him says, "Oh my God, I'm going to die." Whew, full stop. When he has been hearing the words of this fat chick for the past 20 minutes, John unbuckles his seatbelt, and when he's free, he rushes up and says, "Nope, fuck this, I ain't dealing with this bullshit." He opens the locker and grabs the bag and attempts to walk towards the cockpit while mumbling, "This wrestling gig better be worth what I'm risking." I would like to use coordination to walk towards the cockpit of the plane unimpeded by using the lockers to guide my way before the thunder has something not so nice to say about the whole of this plane. Well, there's no more boost die, so that sucks. So you're on a plane that has cascading engine failure. Not that you know of that. And the pilots in the front of this plane are doing the utmost damnedest to not literally nosedive into the dirt right now. So you moving up to the front of the plane isn't going to be a problem here. The problem is the timing, per se. Yeah, all right. Let's do a coordination. So this will be 2 purple with 1 black, given the circumstances of this. This is a coordination skill check, which you are deceptively good at. Ah, look at that. So you got a threat, a success, and you got a triumph as well. So I'm gonna say you take a wound as one of the lockers above your head opens up as a briefcase slides out and wallops you in the head. But you don't take a strain, an additional strain. You will take one for doing an action though. But as you brush it off, you walk towards the front of the plane and you open up the plane cockpit door. You see the two pilots in there. They're just like, you know, one of the guys is like leaning back, just like pulling the joystick up as hard as he can, and the man next to him is going, "Mayday, mayday! This is QF9972. We are stuck in the maelstrom and we have cascading engine failure. Please respond. Anyone, please respond." And you get the sound, like a very faint cackling sound of the radio being like,
this is actual. What is your location? Over.
And the pilot's like, "What? No, repeat. And he's like,
Ranger station.
and that's all you hear. And then the guy's just like, fuck. And he's like, "Stop fucking cursing and help me not kill everyone on this fucking plane, Bob." And he grabs the other joystick and he helps pull it back as well. That's the scene you see as you open the door. The co-pilot turns around and says, "Sir, sit the fuck down or else you're going to die." There is a stewardess next to you who is sitting in like an emergency chair inside the cockpit, who's basically just like eyes closed, just like hanging on to the seatbelt as hard as she can. There is a spare seat next to you if you'd want to sit down. But other than that, you look out the front of the plane. It breaks past the like basically the way that I describe the situation from the outside is that the fog wall, you were flying and the fog wall sort of just like just came up on you like instantly. And you've been kind of keeping with the front, like the nose of the plane has kind of been sticking out of the fog wall, like moving out of it and then being caught up by the fog wall over and over again, kind of like nosing out of the thing. And then just like that, you're outside of the fog wall. The hands of the pilot is like sort of starting to be like his hands are starting to get singed. All the dials on the plane are going haywire. You look out the window and the two engines are literally on fire. And the wings of the plane are basically black with burn mark and singes. The plane is starts doing that telltale like woo as it starts to like lose altitude rapidly now that it's outside of this maelstrom, and smoke is billowing from both of the engines. What do you do? All right, we'll give you 4 experience points for that, my sir. Good stuff. Okay. Next we have Samuel Davis, aka Heavy Metal Man. Heavy Metal Madman. Sammy slammed the phone down on the receiver. Cocksuckers, his friends, raw to out of the prospect of housing Sammy for the foreseeable future. Why the fuck do I bother with these losers? It was only after the public phone. It was only after giving the public phone a good kicking that he noticed 2 security guards accosting him. Shit. And they were on him before he knew it. After a quick scuffle, Sammy was thrown to the pavement and asked to leave. Sammy rubbed his shoulder as he made his way through the city. Those rent-a-cop assholes might have tweaked something. He contemplated his next move. He was 5 weeks behind on rent and couldn't go back to his apartment, and all his haunts wouldn't have him stick around any longer than he already does. If only had some scratch, you could post up a motel or something. Well, you do have $100. At that moment, he noticed something odd. A brown wallet laid on the sidewalk. Oh, okay. Oh, you just read it. Sammy looked around and made his way over. As he came upon it, he kicked it into the alley, followed after. Where he and the wallet are properly out of sight, Sammy opened up and tidy sum $100. Score! Sammy deposited the wallet into a nearby dumpster. I'm gonna get so fucking high on this. With money in hand, Sammy ventures off to find his dealer. I'd like to use Streetwise again to hunt down my friendly neighborhood drug dealer and acquire some marijuana. Alright. Okay. So, given the circumstances, Mr. Samuel Davis, I'm going to say this is actually fairly difficult. As street dealers tend to not want to be dealing drugs in the middle of a maelstrom. So, I'm going to make this 3 purple. But let's see what you can see. Like, this would be basically, you know, the usual spot that you meet. He's not there if you fail, or if you pass. But then you go to the spot that he doesn't think that you know that he knows about. Yeah. Right? So let's roll. Yeah, no. Failure, but... failure and a threat. Wow, man. Your rolls have just been... awful. Okay, so you take a strain. You know, you go to the first location was a bust. The second location, you know, and you think to yourself, where would that slimy sleazeball go? And then you remember the alley behind the Hooters that you first met him in. He's been known to go there occasionally to get the desperate and the needy. So you make your way there. However, that old haunt is actually a you know, gang territory now, and you run into some armed thugs. You know, one of them, they're, you know, stereotypically like planning something basically. They've got like a both peering over like an a yellow pages directory, and they're going over a map, and it's like, yo, I hear every one of these places are moving out of here, so this is perfect time to go robbing. And it's like, oh yeah, I like it. You know, you step on some broken glass, they turn around, and it's like, what are you doing back here, boy? And we'll leave it at that. There's 2 of them. So, and they are armed, and they have balaclavas over their noses and mouths. So their intent is pretty obvious. So let's see where that leads you. So Samuel Davis, you know, take a strain for your failure. So that puts you 3 of 12. Alright, and we'll give you some XP. Putting you at 4. Alright, and the last one that we need to do is Ronald Collins, aka Victor Von Varus. So where is... That is who? Rigger. Alright. Victor watches this incoming mystery for quite a while. Remarkable. If anyone knows for sure that magic is not reality, it is him. Very few times in life could he find something unexplainable. Yet in the distance, this bewildering mystery encroaches ever closer. Scribbling notes in his journal between stints of studying the odd sight, Victor records all he can until common sense takes over. A trick, or not, it's coming. And there are several immediate ideas of the course of action he should take. First and foremost is the thing on every magician's mind: safety. The first idea, of course, is heading to his cellar and hunkering down, but if everything falls apart, he'll be trapped and alone. That, plus all the information he's gathered from examining the storm, may be useful and trusting the phone may be useful. And trusting the phone to be intact once the weather hits does not seem smart. Mentally, Victor concedes that this may not be the best plan he's ever come up with, but extreme circumstances call for extreme measures. Rushing through the house, Victor grabs everything he can think of to carry on hand. Pockets, and even more hidden pockets stuffed with his tricks, props, essentials, and like his wallet, and his best designs for his new show, so they may survive. This done, he sprints from his nondescript average black sedan and speeds towards town, trying to beat the storm front. Not sure if this requires a roll, but I don't have a driving skill, but I do have coordination perception if that helps at all. Aiming to make a break for town before the storm hits. Okay, so I'm willing to say here, Rigger, that because you spend so much time perceiving the storm, as you make your way in the car, a little bit dangerously, you check your your revision mirror. You've got the little sticker that says things in this mirror might be closer than they appear. And you start to notice a couple of things. Well, the fog wall hasn't advanced. You're probably like halfway to town before you notice this fact. Has stopped advancing. Secondly, it would appear that the fog wall itself is darkening. But outside that, you can slow your car and you don't have to go as fast. So you don't need to require a roll here. And I'm not going to give you a strain since you didn't actually roll anything here. So your strain is still 2 of 14. I am going to give you some XP though. Having said that, what you've seen about the wall seems to me that is actually a wall now, to some degree. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much wraps up the GM turn for the fan fiction. I will be writing another act pretty soon. If you want to join in, head on over to the Discord channel, which is discord.gg/Henley, where we will be doing this daily, Monday through Friday. But until then, that's where we're going to leave this for now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably play something else now. I'm thinking that maybe we could... Rainbow Six Siege is supposed to update today. I'm not sure when it has to drop, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, see you in a bit.